Hey, Jason, thanks for taking the time today.
Hey, how's it going?
We'll get started here with Jeff McLean and then Bo Wolf.
Well, Jeff, how's it going, bud?
Hey, how are you? Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can. No, I can't. Yeah, no, I
Okay.
can.
What can you do, Jason, as a leader, to help the players assimilate with Nick's culture and his scheme, and I guess vice versa as well? Help Nick kind of assimilate as well into the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I need to help Nick. I think as a leader, your job or as a veteran player, your job is really to just buy in and embrace everything with an open mindset and be a guy that's clearly trying to do everything. And, it doesn't mean you don't ask questions. It doesn't mean that you don't, voice your opinion on things, but you definitely need to be active in welcoming the new cultures, the new mindsets, the new plays, like all of those things. So, that's my biggest job, in my opinion. And then, you're setting that example, obviously, for the younger guys and other guys on the team. This is how we're going to go about this.
Go ahead, Bo, and then Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Jason. You had said at the end of last year that one of the things you enjoyed about going through a difficult season was being able to sort of, see how people responded in the locker room to that adversity. I'm curious who made an impression on you, the way that they went about things at the end of last year.
Yeah, no, I think just staying in our room. Obviously, Jordan Mailata, he got a really good opportunity last year to go out there and showcase how far he's come as a guy who started out not even understanding how to get in a stance to going out there and playing live reps in primetime football games. So, Jordan did a tremendous job. Nate Herbig did a tremendous job. Matt Pryor playing through an injury and doing anything he can to help the football team out. I know that the offensive line wasn't quite as good in a lot of the metrics and whatnot, but quite frankly, we missed the best right guard in the NFL, and Brandon Brooks. Isaac Seumalo went down early. Lane Johnson was out of the lineup a lot. So when you really look at it from that perspective and how many guys really played football at this level for the first time in their careers, I was really very happy, honestly, with a lot of, not just their production, but the way they went about their business. So, I'm excited for the opportunity that a lot of those young guys got last year, for a lot of the guys that we got coming back this year. And we really have a wealth of experience right now in the offensive line room.
Go ahead, Dave, and then Tim.
Hey, Jason. Have you had a chance yet to get to know Landon Dickerson at all? And if so, what are your early impressions of him?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's really, I think we're in here for like 4 hours right now. We're limited to so it's not a lot of time. But I got to talk with him yesterday mainly. We got lunch down together. He's as advertised. He's a big, fun guy. Loves the game of football. You can tell that right away. Loves talking about football. He's got a great personality. I think that this kid's going to offer a lot to our room. I mean, he's big, he's physical, he's strong, he's smart. He's got all the tools. So I'm excited to work with him. I'm just excited that he's here.
Tim, and then Rob Kessner.
Hey, Jason, curious to get your impressions on Nick Sirianni so far. What stands out about his approach?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think everybody's seen it whenever he addresses the media, but, he's got energy, man. Every single day, it is not an act of any sort. That's kind of who he is, and he's really excited, to be a head coach, and that's very evident. He's really excited to, have a staff here, to be working with the team. It's even in, the virtual meetings, that was evident. And, he's big on, being connected. He's big on building a culture where, people are not just playing football together, but really forming a bond and being connected outside of football as well. So, there's been a lot of activities centered around creating, those relationships between players to players, players to coaches, and vice versa. And you can tell that's a big part of what he believes in.
Go ahead, Rob, and then Chris Franklin.
Jason, given the unusual nature again of this offseason compared to what it normally is pre-COVID, do you believe that you'll be able to get accomplished what you need to get accomplished in this time leading up to camp to be where you need to be with a new coaching staff, with a new offensive coordinator, in order to give yourself a fighting chance once the regular season comes around?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, actually, last year's a good thing to draw on. I think we were the only team in the division last year that had a returning coaching staff. The other three teams all had new coaches, and last year there was no offseason. It was all virtual, nothing together until training camp. And, sure enough, unfortunately, the only team that had a returning coaching staff was the team that finished dead last. So I think, there's enough time here to get installed what we need to have installed before the games really start happening. There's more than enough time and more than enough opportunities to build this thing and get it dialed in, for this season.
Go ahead, Chris, and then Paul Domowich.
Hey, Jason. The news came out yesterday that you guys were changing a little bit of the way the off-season workouts were going to be. Were you one of the people that spoke with Nick? And also, how will not having those 707 and 11 on 11s during the third phase impact you guys? You guys think it's going to hold you back at all?
So yes, I was involved in the conversations, and no, I don't think it'll hold us back. I think that, like we just talked about, there's plenty of opportunities between now and training camp to get those competitive periods in. We actually have preseason games this year, which is different than last year. There's going to be enough time to evaluate guys and to teach all of these, techniques and everything like that. And if anything, I think this lends itself a little bit more to what Nick has talked about. He's really talked about technique and fundamentals being such a big part of his coaching style and his methods. And that's what we're working on right now. Maybe it's not in a 7-on-7, 11-on-11 live period, but sometimes the best way to work on those fundamentals and those techniques are to really hone them in with your position coaches, really do them in controlled situations, and then you take it to the competitive situation. So I think that this actually could be beneficial in the way that Nick's philosophy works and what he believes in. And I'm sure that we'll still find ways to compete throughout these weeks. That's also a big part of his. It obviously won't be with those two periods, but we'll still find a way to try and beat each other. There's no doubt about that.
Go ahead, Damo, and then John McMullen.
Hey, Jace. Couple of months back, Jeffrey Lurie described this as a transition period after last season, kind of compared it to 2016. Do you agree with that? And as a guy who is 33 years old and may or may not play after this season, how do you feel going into this season?
Well, there's no question we're in a transition period. We have a new head coach, a new coaching staff completely, new quarterback. There's a lot of change that's happened within the building. And so without question, we're in a transition period. I think the biggest difference between football and a lot of other sports is that being in a transition period doesn't mean that you can't compete and be competitive. Like we saw with a lot of new coaches last year, a lot of the new coaching staffs who had no time to prepare throughout the whole offseason in the given situations with COVID and everything performed really well. The Browns are a great example. I think that the bottom line is, we can be competitive, win games. We can win this division. I have no doubt about that. If we go out there about it the right way, we improve, we continue to get better as a team, and we can also be in a transition period. I think that that's the best way to transition because we'll be able to do it in a way that we're still winning ball games while building this thing for the future. So I'm excited to be a part of that. I'm excited to come back and to help in this transition as a veteran player. I think that that's a big part of my role is aiding in this transition. So, I'm excited to be a part of it.
Thanks.
We'll go to John and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Jason, to kind of follow up on that change you were talking about at this stage of his career, obviously, I'm sure you weren't happy about the way things went last year, went sideways, but personally, does that give you a little bit more energy coming into this season?
In terms of what? I'm sorry, John.
In terms of just, this late in your career as a veteran player, obviously you had so much success with Doug, but it is new. It is a change. Does that, in a weird way, give you a little bit more energy?
Yeah, I mean, certainly whenever there's new things happening and different cultures being set, different people that you've never met before. Anytime there's environments like that, I think that the energy's probably a little bit higher. I don't want to say that I still feel like we had really good energy with Doug and those staffs. I mean, I don't want to say that that had gone by the wayside, because I don't believe that. But anytime there's something new, I mean, you got to be dialed in. You're getting new terminology every single day. You're getting a new way we're lifting weights, a new way we're doing this, a new way we're doing that, and you're learning that on a daily basis. So you have to be locked in. It's not like I'm in my fifth camp with Doug and we've installed these plays the last 5 years. I know exactly what's going on. Now everything might be just a hair different, but that difference makes a big deal come game time. So, I think that the attention to detail is certainly higher and really locked in at this point in the stage with everything being so new. Yep.
We have time for two more, so we'll go to Zach and then Jamie.
Hey, Jason. I guess first off, I'm with the second baby. Congratulations there.
Thank you.
As far as your decision to come back, do you weigh it entirely on how you're feeling, wanting to play, or do you view the roster, the team, the direction of the franchise in that decision?
I would say I look at it more intrinsically. I don't try and speculate too much on what I think the season's going to end up being. Maybe some people say you're naive, but I go into every game thinking we're going to win the game, and I go into every season thinking we're going to be successful. I believe in the guys in this building. I believe in my teammates. I think that that's part of being a part of a team. So, I don't know that really ever changes that much. I think most of it is just, very intrinsically thinking about, okay, how did that season end? You're trying to remember how you felt at the end of it, because, you got to give it your all and be there and be committed to your teammates and coaches for the entirety of the season. And you try and, think, can you do that again? Do you want to do that again? And, once I, stepped away long enough and was able to think about that clearly, there was no question that I wanted to do another one. So that's really how that decision, I guess, or thought process happens.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Jason, on that note, how difficult was that decision for you last year? How much introspection did that take? And, you're a guy also that takes things so personally, and did the fact that Doug lost his job and Carson's out of here weigh on you all offseason? And can you just describe all of that?
Obviously whenever, friends of yours are either, let go or they moved on, that's a big part, whether it's a teammate or, a friend off the field, anything that's going to be in the back of your mind. But again, I don't think that has much to do with the decision to come back. And, really, deciding to play football is, in my opinion, very much about whether I can dedicate myself in the proper way to my teammates and my coaches. It's less about do I want to do it, because I'm always going to want to play football. Physically, can I make that dedication and make that sacrifice in the way that I think is acceptable to the game and to my teammates. And that's the way that it happens. And I feel like I'm still able to do that. I still feel like I can do that. And I'm excited to go out there and do it again.
All right. Thank you for the time, Jason.
Sure. Thank you.